Welcome back to the Hot 7 Nightly News. Thank you for staying with us. With the rise of crime among youth, particularly those still in school, Education Minister Dr. Gail Rigobert points out the importance of recognizing the Education Act in conjunction with the Age of Consent Act when managing crime situations involving youth who fall within that category. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
Whilst authorities, as well as respective government bodies, scramble to get to the bottom of recent cases involving secondary school teenagers discovered with firearms, questions surrounding proper penalties for them, as well as for youngsters of the same age group, have arisen. Earlier this week, the concerns were presented to Education Minister Dr. Gail Rigobert, who said this is in fact a very important issue which needs to be dissected thoroughly.
Whereas, and you are correct, we do find the persons above 16 or 18 within our school system, especially at the post-secondary school level, and therefore we need to, in a sense, ascertain how best do we engage with them, both as a student and a citizen of a given age. We don't have to reinvent anything really, because the laws are very clear about that. It is how you manage situations involving students at these various stages in their life.
Dr. Rigobert said the age factor makes such cases extremely sensitive.
That is reference to students or reference to the age of citizens and what they can do at what age. So whether it be at what age can you legally consume alcohol, at what age can you vote, at what age can you drive, at what age can you provide consent, all of these things have to be harmonized, because if you understand our jurisdiction, you realize that these ages vary depending on the activity and the consideration.
Currently, none of the teenagers implicated in the two separate cases are in police custody. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
With St. Lucia gearing up to celebrate 40 years of independence come the 22nd of February, one artist, Ted Sandiford, has placed a 40-day Independence Art Challenge to his fellow artists. Moving into the 19th day of the challenge, the artist is looking forward to seeing more of the greatness that St. Lucian art is known for. He spoke with Solange Alfred.
Well-known artist Ted Sandiford has embarked on a 40-day Independence Art Challenge to raise the bar of creativity and national pride and marry them perfectly with various art forms inclusive of digital art, traditional art, and photography. Hot 7 News caught up with the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College lecturer, where he provided insight into the objective of the challenge.
The 40 Days Independence Challenge was actually a challenge to other artists in St. Lucia. I wanted to start with myself, and I wanted it to be something like a traditional event where all artists every year would come together to just do some paintings or art, digital arts, anything that has to do with art. It can be photography, it can be videography, once it incorporates all the art forms and St. Lucia on a whole.
Sandiford says that a level of promotion would have benefited the challenge to get more artists on board. However, he insisted that the foundation has now been set for the challenge to continue for many years.
Probably next year we can probably have a 41-day challenge with the 41st independence, but let's just see how it goes with me first.
Do you think that with your 40-day independence challenge that the culmination and part of it, there should maybe be like a display or something of the sort? I mean, is that something that you would like to see?
Well, I can see, but just let's see on the 40th day.
Okay.
With 21 more days left in the 40-day Independence Art Challenge, friends and followers on the artist's social media platforms eagerly await his new creations. The artist uses the hashtag #SLU40ArtChallenge for easy access to view his collection on Instagram and Facebook. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
The Ministry of Agriculture and the Association for the Conservation of Threatened Parrots held a signing ceremony for the breeding loan agreement on Wednesday, the 23rd of January. The agreement will go a long way to ensuring the continued progress for the preservation of the St. Lucian parrot, the Amazona versicolor.
Conserving St. Lucia's wildlife amidst the growing negative effects of climate change remains a top priority for the Ministry of Agriculture. in a recent signing ceremony between the Ministry of Agriculture and the Association for the Conservation of Threatened Parrots, ACTP. Both parties involved solidified their commitment for the preservation of the St. Lucian parrot through a breeding loan agreement. Minister for Agriculture Ezekiel Joseph touted the agreement.
I recall when I came in as Minister of Agriculture in 2008, I was approached by the President, Mr. Martin Goof, to have some general discussions as to how he can work along with the government of St. Lucia as it pertains to our parrot, and to at least give some level of safety net as it pertains to having a home for our parrot in the event that we experience some negative impact of climate change. Whilst we can boast of a very healthy population of parrots in St. Lucia, we have no control as to what negative impact climate change can have on that population. So we believe there is a need for us to be proactive in our thinking. We have to be futuristic in our thinking as to what we should do as a government to really provide that safety net for this pride species of ours. So I'm happy that Mr. Martin Goof and you and your company, ACTP, has agreed to continue to collaborate with us.
The president of the ACTP, Martin Goof, expressed his gratitude for the continued partnership between the ACTP and the government of St. Lucia. He noted the significance of the signing as one that solidifies St. Lucia's efforts towards the preservation of wildlife.
The last 10 years, which was fruitful cooperation, respectful cooperation, and also the trust which you gave to our association. And today, to be here again after 10 years, it's a big step for us. Looking forward for another 8 years, completing a wildlife education center here on the island makes dreams come true for us. We never expect when we start here that we get such a good cooperation and that we're working on such visionary projects like the Wildlife Education Center. So, and facing all the challenges like climate change, we as ACTP want to assure you that we do our absolutely best to stay together with the government of St. Lucia and working on the conservation of the wildlife from St. Lucia.
Meanwhile, Joseph says that he looks forward to other initiatives that the Ministry of Agriculture can partner with ACTP on. One such future project is a wildlife educational center near the Orchid Farm in Union and will be the first of its kind in the region. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solaj Alfred.
Almost 10 schools in St. Lucia are set to benefit from book donations from the non-profit organization Hands Across the Sea. More in this report from Alicia Ali.
Hands Across the Sea is a non-profit organization dedicated to raising the literacy levels of children in the Eastern Caribbean. To date, the organization has partnered with the government and civil society to complete over 90 projects on island, reaching almost 30,000 children. Clara Paul is one of the literacy links for Hands Across the Sea in St. Lucia. She said she is encouraged by the strides that have been made thus far.
Every year, Hands Across the Sea purchase tens of thousands of only new children's books from the publishers. All books sent are selected purposefully for the students in mind. We link with principals, teachers, and Peace Corps volunteers who are in some of the schools to get a wish list that we use to put the books together.
In this project cycle, almost 10 schools will have in-house libraries with completely new books catering to every skill level and competency. Education officials say they are elated and encouraged by this development.
We at the Ancillary Primary School are extremely grateful this afternoon for the opening of the Ancillary Primary School's library. This resource is of vital importance to the school in its quest to encourage and motivate pupils to read.
I am hoping that with the opening of our school library today, that our students can continue in the quest to achieve even greater heights, as Honorable Derek Walcott himself would have said. We are going to read more. We are going to know more. We are going to explore more. And I am hoping also that makes us better people.
The Special Education Unit is always excited when members of civil society and the corporate community take an interest in supporting special education. My excitement is partly because sometimes it feels as if we in the special education family are engaged in the struggles all alone. It feels that way sometimes. But when you make a contribution to special education like you are doing today, and we are here to celebrate what you have contributed, you are showing us that you are standing with us, shoulder to shoulder.
In addition to donating new books, Hands Across the Sea works with schools to create or rejuvenate lending libraries and partners with the schools to ensure the gains in literacy are sustained. The beneficiaries during this cycle are the Ancillary Primary School, the Foncé Jacques Primary School, Lady Gordon Opportunity Center, the St. Aloysius RC Boys Primary School, the Roblo Combined School, the Laquamingo Combined School, Diga Combined School, Beanfield Secondary School, and the Entrepot Secondary School. From the Communications Unit in the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Gender Relations, and Sustainable Development, I am Alicia Ali reporting.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News. Stay with us. There's much more coming up after this quick break.